If you are selling a home in Texas, one of the most important documents you may complete is a seller's disclosure notice. And many sellers treat it like a checklist. They move through it quickly, they answer from memory. They skip over things they are not sure about. Or they assume that if something was repaired years ago, it no longer matters. But the seller's disclosure is not just paperwork, it is a trust document. That is the best way to think about it. It helps a buyer understand what the seller knows about the property. It helps frame the inspection process. It helps reduce surprises, and when handled well, it can actually make buyers more confident. I'm Meras with Paragon Realty Advisors, and in this video, we are going to explain the Texas Seller's Disclosure Notice using 3 categories: red flags, green flags, and questions sellers should ask before going live. This is not legal advice, and we are not attorneys. If you have legal questions about disclosure, speak with a qualified Texas attorney. But from a real estate perspective, disclosure strategy matters. The big idea is disclosure builds or breaks trust. The seller disclosure is generally about the seller's knowledge of the property. It is not a warranty. It is not a guarantee that the home is perfect, and it is not a substitute for a buyer's inspection. But it is a disclosure of what the seller knows, and that distinction matters. Buyers do not expect every home to be perfect, but they do want to feel like the seller is being honest. A disclosed issue with documentation can often be managed. An undisclosed issue discovered during inspection can create suspicion. And suspicion is what damages deals. Let's say a home had a roof leak 3 years ago. The seller repaired it. There has been no problem since. If that is disclosed properly and supported with an invoice, the buyer may see it as a resolved issue. But if the buyer finds a ceiling stain during inspection and the disclosure says nothing, the buyer may wonder what else was left out. Same issue. Different presentation, different level of trust. Let's start with red flags. The first red flag is guessing. If you do not know the answer, do not pretend you know. The disclosure should be accurate to the best of your knowledge. The seller can create problems by trying to make the home sound cleaner than reality. The second red flag is leaving known issues vague. For example, some plumbing work was done. Foundation was checked at some point. Roof was repaired years ago. That may be technically better than saying nothing, but it may still create questions. If there are records, dates, invoices, or warranties, gather them. The third red flag is assuming repaired issues do not matter. A repaired issue may still be part of the home's history. Foundation work, roof leaks, water intrusion, termite treatment, major plumbing work, electrical upgrades, insurance claims, drainage issues, HVAC replacement. These may all be relevant. The fourth red flag is a disclosure not matching what the buyer sees. If the seller disclosure says there are no known issues, but the inspection report shows obvious signs of past water damage, that creates concern. The buyer may wonder whether the seller forgot, did not know, or chose not to say something. None of those help the transaction. The fifth red flag is waiting too long. The disclosure should be handled early, ideally before the home goes live. That gives your agent the time to understand the property history, gather documentation, and prepare the right strategy. So let's talk about the green flags. The first green flag is documentation. If you had repairs done, gather the records, roof invoices, foundation reports, engineering letters, transferable warranties, HVAC servicing records, plumbing receipts, insurance claim information where appropriate, pool service records, survey, permits if available, and the more organized you are, the easier it is to build buyer confidence. The second green flag is context. Disclosure is not just about saying, yes, this happened. It is also about helping the buyer understand what happened next. Was it repaired? Who repaired it? Is there a warranty? Has the issue returned? Are there records? That context matters. The third green flag is consistency. Your disclosure, marketing, inspection experience, and negotiation posture should all tell the same story. If the home is older and has had repairs, that is okay. Position it honestly. Do not market the property like it has no history if the documents show otherwise. The fourth green flag is preparation. A seller who completes the disclosure thoughtfully before the listing is in a stronger position than the seller who rushes after the buyer asks for it. Preparation reduces panic. Fifth green flag is transparency without oversharing in the wrong way. You want to be honest and complete, but you also want the information organized. Dumping a pile of confusing documents on a buyer without explanation can create more anxiety. A good agent helps frame the information professionally. A real-world example. Let's use a DFW example. A seller in Richardson is preparing to list. The home is older. It had foundational work 10 years ago. The roof was replaced after a hailstorm. The HVAC was replaced 4 years ago. There was a plumbing repair under the kitchen sink. None of that automatically makes the home a problem. In fact, if documented properly, some of it may reassure buyers. The seller can show that the major items were handled. But if these issues are missing from the disclosure and the buyer discovers them during inspection, the buyer may lose confidence. That is why disclosure is not just about avoiding liability, it's about managing trust. Questions sellers should ask before listing. Before completing a seller's disclosure, ask yourself, what do I know about the property that a buyer would want to know? Have there been roof issues, foundation issues, water issues, termite treatment, electrical problems, plumbing problems, HVAC repairs, drainage issues, insurance claims, major remodeling, permits, HOA issues? Do I have documentation? Do I need to clarify anything before answering? Should we consider a pre-listing inspection? Should any repairs be completed before going live? Those questions help you prepare. They also help your agent advise you more effectively. Should you do a pre-listing inspection? Sometimes a pre-listing inspection makes sense. Sometimes it does not. It can help identify issues before buyers do. It can give the seller time to make repairs on their own schedule. It can reduce surprises during the option period. But it also creates information that needs to be handled properly. So this is a strategy decision. It depends on the property, age, condition, seller goals, and risk tolerance. The key is to decide intentionally, not reactively. The takeaway: the seller disclosure should not be viewed as a form to get through. It should be viewed as part of your listing strategy. A good disclosure does three things. It informs the buyer, it supports trust, and it reduces avoidable surprises. You do not need to scare buyers. You do not need to make the home sound worse than it is. But you do need to be thoughtful, accurate, and prepared. At Paragon Realty Advisors, we help sellers prepare before going live so the transaction has fewer surprises after going under contract. If you are thinking about selling in Dallas-Fort Worth and want help preparing your home, your disclosure, and your listing strategy, reach out to us at Paragon Realty Advisors, located at www.paragondfw.com. And if you found this video helpful, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you'll have access to all current and future content. And as always, make sure you leave us a comment below. We love hearing from you. Thank you for watching this video, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. All the best.